We made ourselves busy just installing the rubber mats in the barns. Let the bellows blow. We were out there selling ourselves.
In the early days, you wore all the hats.
Let the fire. We weren't out there to sell the cheapest product. We wanted something that was there for the test of time. All of a sudden, we went from hand cutting everything to CNC cutting.
It was really learning a whole new industry.
There were times when we said, oh, this is just a waste of time. We're just a distraction.
6 months or a year or so, we're ready to shut it down any moment.
It's been way too long.
We couldn't fail. We had no plan B.
We're in a new country. This is where we want to play. And we've got to make it happen. You can't go back to England. That's miles away.
Forge me in your holy flames.
When I first left school, I worked for a landscaping company in Coventry area in the UK. We used to lay a bit of paving, asphalt, and laid rubber in playgrounds, and it was, I thought, hey, this has really got some advantages here. I started to sell a wet pour, which was a liquid rubber system, and quite quickly found that more people wanted rubber mats because they were cheaper and they could install them.
I was fairly open-minded at the start. Very quickly, it all changed. I could work with Ross. He started selling into the equestrian industry.
I started by just selling horse stall mats, like for stable floors, and then I got into a bit more horse truck and trailer manufacturers.
Around that time, with the rest of the family, we talked about moving. My father passed away. We kind of didn't really have any major big ties then to Coventry.
My dad worked for somebody else, then he got sick, and he was sick for a long time, so we all had to muck in and work out, to make it work out, help get through. We never had it easy, and I think that kind of ingrained something into our DNA a little bit. When we relocated to Canada, I went looking for that same industry, and it's really not here. The horse industry is very different in Canada to what it was in the UK.
The equestrian market was very different. That was quite a surprise to us.
But as soon as we started looking, we realised that the dairy industry was really good. The dairy industry in Canada was strong, and that's largely due to the quota system that Canada was operating, which meant that farmers could grow and they got a guaranteed income for their milk production.
The dairy was very interesting because there was a lot of Europeans, a lot of the big dairy farms you could link on with. They understood, talked kind of the same language.
The rubber products are basically universal. The advantages it brings for a horse, it will bring for a cow. Traction, better on their feet. We just focused on selling to the dairy industry. We advertised, we knocked on doors, we delivered brochures, and with one way I went the other. We basically filled up our order books really quickly.
Basically, you go out selling one day, get a job, reinstalling it the next day, and then start over again.
There's something really interesting about farmers. They're the same world over. They might have a different accent, they might have come from a different place, and they might do things a different way, but they all laugh about the same things. They all appreciate the same things, and they've all got the comfort and the well-being of the animal at heart, and that's why they love what they do. We were basically bringing rolls of rubber in, and we would measure it, cut it all by hand. We knew that if we could cut with a CNC water jet machine, we could offer a unique advantage over everybody else, because we could literally custom cut the rubber to fit their barn. Then all of a sudden, the dealers could see that we were actually doing something for them. We went from hand cutting everything to CNC cutting and being able to offer a professional, easy install for the dealer. We were importing rolls of rubber. First few containers, great quality, no problem at all. And then all of a sudden, open the container doors and it's just all garbage, literally garbage, like sweep it out of the container. So obviously we lost money.
All of a sudden we got 4 containers and they were like really bad quality. And then we tried to get it replaced. The company turned out bad on us. It was really learning a whole new industry, and really farmers, they're very skeptical people. If you mess up once, don't stand by your word, you probably won't get a second chance. that really made us focus on getting control of our supply chain.
Decided to research into manufacturing our own rubber mats. We invested in the presses and the rubber mixing equipment and started to press and cut our own mats. We're up against the wall. If we don't make it go, no one else is going to do it for us. So push like crazy and make it happen. When I was still looking for horse, truck and trailer manufacturers, we went in and the fella said, well, why don't you cut these van mats for us for a communications company? And we gave him a quote and got the orders. We had a wooden template that was fixed to the roof of the barn. We had a trailer underneath, which was our cutting bench, and Ben would cut one side, I'd cut the other. It was freezing cold, the amount of times we slipped and cut ourselves, and then one thing led to another and started to spread out further than just selling livestock beds and mats.
We could see the scale of the market was big. We started putting more effort into that side of the business.
We were then now chasing after the automotive market. We pushed out further than just Canada. Ultimately, we started to sell into the States. The livestock was where our bread and butter was. And then over time, that sort of changed. The rubber industry is still going strong, but now the lion's share of our business would be in the fleet, in the automotive van floors. There were times when we said, this is just a waste of time, we're just a distraction.
6 months or a year or so, we're ready to shut it down any moment. We could see the opportunity and we just try to push through.
There was no chance of failure. We wanted something that would be like a legend, never die. You can't go back to England, that's miles away. We're here and we enjoy it, like it, there's space. My life's goal is to be able to look after my family and be helpful to a local community. Other than that, I don't have any aspirations for wealth. It doesn't really bother me.
In the journey, you get bright spots and then you get huge problems and crises, and things can turn in a moment, and it's really how you deal with them and what decisions to make. Watching other people elevate their own circumstances, start to go ahead in life and start to grow is very inspiring to watch.
It's a massive responsibility, but it's also a massive privilege to be able to bring a livelihood, to bring a living to these people.
Legend is really the whole succession plan, handing over to the next generation.
Figure it out, find a way of doing it, and get that passion and that fire in your belly. When I was in England, I would get up early, get out there, get going, get stuff done. I think you should just be normal.